Well. Welcome back to everyone's favorite video of the month, the TikTok Roundup. Before we jump into this video, if you have not yet subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you could. I have a goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so clock's a ticking, everybody. So I know last month we did the very fun but tedious Dance Moms pyramid style breakdown of this video. Loved the concept, hated having to do it. It was just a lot of work, but I'm glad that everyone enjoyed it. So we're going back to the good old-fashioned tier list. We have 5 different tier levels. Here they are on the screen right here. We're going to go through each of these videos by themselves, and I'm just going to kind of expand on if I have any thoughts on them, and we'll go from there. So let's hop on in. All right, let's read the words on the screen. This says, why I don't eat like a tourist. So I'm assuming she means when she's traveling. I'm not here to try the food. I'm here to look sculpted on the beach. TripAdvisor says pasta. I say lemon water and silence. My memories don't come from meals. They come from how flat my stomach was. Loaded in a bikini for a local plate? Absolutely not. I mean, this is honestly just like really sad. And I do mean that wholeheartedly. There is so much more to life than what your body looks like. Life is so short. Even if you're lucky enough to like live well into your 90s, there is so much world to explore and different cultures and cuisines and lifestyles to experience. And to say no to all of that just to have a flat stomach, to me, I just think that's a very, very sad way to live. You know, obviously moderation is key, but that is not, this type of content likes to come from a place of like, I'm just talking about health and I'm concerned for your health. And like, there's nothing in here that screams health. If anything, this screams unhealthy. I truly hope that this woman finds help. This is Liv Schmidt. She's known for like kind of blowing up on like the skinny talk trend. So I hope she finds help. And I really hope that the women that she's influencing do not take this bait. So we are going to file this under a hell no, but with some hope that she finds some help.
We are back with everyone's favorite show.
I'm stronger than your dad.
Fucking nailed it. I have my lovely mother back with me again today, and she's going to be her ever impressive self, lifting some heavy fucking shit. How much weight do we have on the bar today, Mum?
140 kilos.
And what are we going to do with 140 kilos, Mum?
Tear the tits off it.
That's fucking right. Tear the fucking tits off it. How many tits are we tearing, Mother?
I don't know. We'll see.
We need some confidence, Mum. Confidence. Come on. It's been a hot minute since she's had this much weight on the bar, but she's strong as fuck, so let's go! Oh, good start. Good start. Let's be aggressive on this second one. Hips through. Lovely. I think there's 5 today, folks. Look, that's good. Looking good for 3. Looking good. Let's be a bit more aggressive now. Come on, that's 4. I'll finish on 4. 4 is pathetic. Let's go. Come on. Oh, too easy.
I do think so.
Well done, Mum. What do you have to say if you're adoring fans out there?
Just have a go.
Have a go what?
At tearing the tits off it.
You fucking coward.
Oh, you fucking coward.
That was the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So 140 kilos for my people in America, that's like, it's like about 309 pounds. I can't lift that. I can't pull that. Get it, Mom? All right, look, I say this a lot. You might see content like this and you might see me like really excited about it and you might automatically go, so that means that I need to be lifting 309 pounds or 140 kilos. And no, you do not necessarily need to be working toward that specific goal. There are plenty of ways that you can maintain your bone density and your muscle mass as you age. Obviously, strength training, well, not obviously, but if you've been here before, strength training is going to be the best way to do that. But strength training can come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Programming styles, exercise selections, all of this is gonna depend on what you enjoy, what your specific goals are. Because for me, I personally do love like a strict set of heavy deadlifts. But some of my clients don't like that type of style of programming because you do need to take a significant amount of rest time and they just find that like it's very redundant, it takes too long, it's a little boring. So for clients like that, I'm going to maybe work more in like supersets of opposing muscle groups so that we can get a little bit more bang for our buck without needing as much rest time. But if we really just like tear all of this back, whether you're working in 5 reps of super heavy deadlifts or if you're working in 10 reps of supersets of like Bulgarians and I don't know, single arm bent over rows, no matter matter what, if you want to increase the likelihood of living a long life without major health complications, you need to be moving significant weight. Mat Pilates is not moving significant weight. Yoga is not moving significant weight. Barre is not moving significant weight. All three of those modalities have fantastic health benefits, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be doing those. I'm just saying they do not replace strength training because they do not recruit or produce the same adaptations, specifically increase muscle mass, increase bone density. They can to a point with more beginner individuals, but they have a very hard stopping point simply because you will not be lifting enough weight by progressively overloading like you see in strength training to continue to send a heavy enough single to the bones, to the muscles to actually break down and get stronger. Now, all of that being said, I always say, do you need to strength train? No, but if you want the benefits, you do need to. And I would honestly say that the risks of not doing so are a lot higher than the risks of doing so. So how many more times can I say so? That's why I just always like to make sure you're well informed. So we're going to file this in a yas right at the top. Funny, we made the same face at the end, but I think for different reasons. I don't even know how or why castor oil is involved here. I'm not going to Google it because it's nonsense. I know for a fact it's not hacking shit. And the Sweet Sweat waist trimmer, all this is going to do is dehydrate you in the area that it's compressing. So in this case, it's going to dehydrate your midsection as you're doing some sort of exercise. She's doing 12-3-30, which I think is a great way to get in some cardio training. But it's going to dehydrate your midsection to expose more of the muscle mass underneath or the muscle definition. But guess what happens when you rehydrate? That's going to go away. Did you lose fat? No. Did you gain muscle? No. You just dehydrated yourself. So once again, it's crazy to me how so much of this content has nothing to do with health and just everything to do with aesthetics. Honestly, at this point, I would rather people just come out and be like, I literally don't give a shit about your health. I just want you to look a certain way because if you don't look a certain way, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I honestly just wish people would flat out say that. It would make things a lot easier because that is really all content like this is. Like, it's just about being thin. It's not necessarily about being healthy. You can be thin and healthy, but they don't go together all of the time. We need to unmarry those two adjectives together because they're not synonyms. They're two completely different words that mean two completely different things. So I've seen worse content out there, so I don't want to put it in the hell no category. So we're going to go one above. But there's really nothing redeeming about this except 12-3-30 is fine if you like it. Let's read this AI ChatGPT nonsense together. I'll never stop doing this back exercise for 1 minute daily. In just 4 weeks, I've lost love handles, sculpted my arms, and finally have a defined back with a lower back line. Let me coach you how. The fuck is a lower back line? Are we supposed to be insecure about our lower backs now? Do I have one? Oh, this is a ladder coach, I bet. It is. It always is. Okay, look, here's my gripe with this. The fitness industry, once a quarter, picks a new body part that we are supposed to be insecure about and then starts to sell programs to fix it. Hip dips, thigh gaps, fupas, chicken arms. And of course, you can't forget about that good old lower back line. Yeah, health. Where is the content about our health? This is going in the hell no.
Japanese have found a groundbreaking walking technique that has 2 times more benefits than getting your usual 10K steps. It's called interval walking training, and here's how to do it. It's very simple. You alternate with 3 minutes of slow walking and 3 minutes of fast walking, sort of like you're late for an important meeting. That's it. You repeat this for 30 minutes. And the results? Not just impressive, borderline unfair. What the Japanese have found is that this leads to a 4 times better blood pressure improvement than people walking 10K steps. It cuts stroke risk by 40%, it reduces depression, it boosts immune function, and even improves sleep by 12%. It's basically cardio with a PhD. Here's a simple way on how to implement this into your own life. So first, you start with 3 to 5 minutes of easy walking, and then you start your interval set, which is going to be 3 minutes at a comfortable pace, 3 minutes at a brisk pace. You should still be able to talk, but not necessarily singing opera. And the cool down is another 3 to 5 minutes of an easy pace. If you want to spice this up, you can go walking uphill, you can throw on a weighted vest, you can go 40 to 45 minutes for more endurance. And remember, we're going to use the talk test, so you should be working and being able to have a conversation, not dying. So think of interval walking training as interval training, but for walking. It is super joint friendly, time efficient, and it's backed by real data. You're not just walking, you're walking smarter. And I created a free guide on the walking protocol we use to help our clients lose their belly fat. Follow me in Comment Walk and I'll send it to you right away.
All right, there's a lot to unpack here. I actually appreciate the fact that they actually explain like what results mean. A lot of times content will just be like, and you'll get the best results. It's like, well, what are results? Like, what are we measuring? So in this case, they talked about cardiovascular improvements, mood improvements, sleep improvements. So I appreciated the fact that they actually said what results mean. They did kind of lose me at the end with like, this is how you lose belly fat. But anyway, we're just gonna let that slide. So really, if we just break down what this guy's talking about, it's just interval training, right? And he said those words intervals a lot of times. So interval training, you've probably seen it in like HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. A lot of times when people just start running, they start with intervals of run to walk. Interval training in general, no matter how you're using it based off of, your goals and where your current cardio health is, it's a great way to improve your VO2 max, which is how much oxygen your muscles and your body can use during exercise. And of course, there's a host of other benefits, a lot of which he actually did talk with like the results in the video. So honestly, I don't really have an issue with this, but I just want you as the viewer watching this for a second to take a step back and take a breath, because a lot of times when people see videos like this, they'll send it to me and they'll be like, oh my God, I've been walking wrong this whole time. Everything I've done to this point has been pointless because I've been doing it wrong. And that is not true. Is this another option of how you could walk? Yeah, but this is the same thing for anything, right? Like interval training is not new. It's a tool, it's a programming tool to get a certain result that you want. It would be like saying if you were doing cardio, but you weren't doing interval training with your cardio, then you've been doing it wrong the whole time. Or you've been running, but you haven't been doing interval training with your running, so you've been doing it wrong the whole time. There's not a wrong way to do something, but a lot of times content like this gets ingested that way or interpreted that way. So honestly, guys, like if you want to play with this with your walks or your cardio or whatever you're doing right now, I think it's a great tool. But again, we're going to peel it back and get real simple. If you're hitting 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, you're doing great. If you're strength training 2 to 3 times a week, you're doing great. If you're getting your heart rate up, if you're eating vegetables, if you're sleeping well, you're doing great. I don't like to overcomplicate things too much, because let's just take steps, for example, which is basically what he's talking about, walking, right? Only 20% of Americans, we'll keep it in my country, only 20% of people are actually even hitting that bare minimum recommendation of 7,000 steps a day. That is the point that long-term studies have really shown that the risk of like chronic health issues plummets in individuals. So it's my only hesitation here, but like we are getting a little nitpicky. So really at the end of the day, like I don't think this is bad or wrong advice. I just know from talking to people every day in my DMs and in the Fit Club and one-on-one clients, that is how this content gets interpreted a lot of like, oh God, I was doing it wrong. Now I need to switch my entire process and do it this way. So that's all I'm saying. So anyway, we're just going to say this is okay. This is okay. It's great. Good. Okay. Let's move on.
Constant push and pull. Don't you know it's my fuel? I'm coming in with the fire that's so unstoppable.
Yeah, let's go piece by piece. So we've got a shoulder press. So I'm going to break this down in terms of like movement pattern. Shoulder press is a vertical push. So pushing vertical in relation to our body. An RDL, that is hip dominant and it's bilateral, meaning both legs are working at the same time. We've got a row, that's going to be a horizontal pull. So we're pulling horizontally in relation to our body. Reverse lunge, this is knee dominant and a unilateral variation, meaning single side. Goblet squats, knee dominant again and bilateral, so both legs working. And then we've got 3 different plank variations. Yeah. I don't hate this at all. You've got a solid mix of movement patterns in here. Like we've got a push, we've got hip and knee dominant, we've got a pull. If you're short on time and you needed to cut something, I would probably cut the goblet squats just because we already get that knee dominant pattern with the reverse lunges. And I do typically like to try and get something unilateral in there since there's such great crossover into daily life. But yeah, honestly, like someone sent this to me and they were like, what are your thoughts? And I'm like, I think it's great. It's simple, it's solid, it's to the point. There's great crossover to daily life. We're going to put it in a yas.
Fashion with front row, Fendi and Prada, hardly Madonna.
Let's read this. You'll either unfollow me or thank me for saying this. Your cardio does not count toward your 10,000 steps a day. Why? There is a caption. I'm sorry if you didn't know this, but I also care about your results and I'm on a mission to make sure you aren't spinning your wheels at check-ins wondering why it's not working for you. If your coach is programming you cardio, it is in addition to your daily movement for the day. That's the point. Your 8K, 10K, 12K, whatever K steps for the day are for general daily movement outside of your workouts, period. Getting the results you're working your ass off for requires understanding why you are doing what you're doing, not just going through the motions and assuming. I still don't understand why they don't count. What? Also, once again, I'm sorry if you don't know this, but I also care about your results. What are the results? Are we talking about health? Probably not. I understand that like your cardio and your strength guidelines are different. For instance, like if your heart rate happens to get up during your strength training, we're not counting that toward your cardio recommendations for 2 reasons. Number 1, those are just going to be like short spurts up and down. And we're talking about like sustained cardio when we're looking at those recommendations and guidelines. Number 2, I guess on the flip side, if your heart rate is elevated into a cardio zone your entire strength workout, you're doing cardio. You need to take more rest. You're not actually really doing strength work. But like, I actually cannot think of a reason why your steps wouldn't count because to me, steps are like, it is true. It is your NEAT or your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So it's your movement outside of your workouts. But like, number 1, like how would you even figure that out? Like, are you wearing 2 different like smartwatches to separate those out? Why wouldn't the steps count? Like, because again, the steps are just really like a guideline of, are you moving through your day or are you just sitting at your desk the whole day? Like your body isn't, maybe that's where we're getting at, but it's not true. Like, so your body doesn't compute your NEAT, non-exercise activity, and your EAT, exercise activity, any different if it's just like move, like, what? I'm actually stumped. Steps are just a guesstimate, a gauge of how much you're moving through the day. Why is this overcomplicated? I actually don't understand. If anyone like understands to me, it sounds like they're saying like you need to do your strength and your cardio and then your steps are like additional cardio. And so more energy exertion is going to get you better results, whatever the heck that means. We're going to put this in hell no because I actually think my brain exploded.
Here's my impression of being a dietitian on social media. Action. Hey guys, all foods can fit inside of a well-balanced diet for the general healthy population. And if you have a restrictive mindset, that's just going to lead to a disordered relationship with food. You can trust me because I have my bachelor's and my master's degree in nutrition and I completed a 1,200-hour internship and a national licensure exam. Here's my impression of the comment section of the dietitian. You suck and we hate you and you're a liar. Thank you. And now here's my impression of an influencer who has no credentialing or training in nutrition at all. Action. Hey guys, you should cut out a major macronutrient and make your life really miserable. You should also buy this $800 supplement that's just going to make you poop your pants. And now here's my final impression of the comment section of the influencer. We love you and you're conventionally attractive, so we will believe anything you say. Scene.
Yeah. I want to do a deep dive on like how we got here. Because it's all connected. Like these trends that we see appearing, especially in our administration, aka our government, of like being anti-science, anti-expert, anti-education, super skinny, trad wife, let's incentivize people to make babies even though no one can afford it. And remember, I didn't say that the current administration caused these things. They didn't help. But these are trends that have occurred throughout history, American history, other country histories. And I do think it's very interesting how a lot of the body trends and I guess belief system trends, we can just call them for lack of a better term, are very connected and tend to happen together. But again, I'm not saying that they were caused. Correlation and causation are two different things. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there. I think this video is spot on. So we're putting it at the top.
I wonder if I changed my number. Would you wanna know? It's the coldest kind of comfort that we could talk, but we don't. We spend
Okay, let's go one slide at a time. Also, before I read this, I don't want to undercut her experience or her feelings or her opinions. But here we go. I don't lift heavy anymore because. Let's stop there for a sec. Define heavy. So strength training, because we're going to go back to all of the claims that happen after this of like why she does not lift heavy anymore. But right off the bat, a woman basically influencing people to not lift heavy, aka strength train, is so incredibly irresponsible. We're going to have the osteoporosis time again, ladies. Women are 4 times more likely to develop osteoporosis or some type of significant loss of bone density than our male counterparts. A lot of this has to do with the fact that traditionally we are just smaller than men. And then the other part of it is that if you are a woman who goes through menopause, that is going to cause a lot of very sharp hormonal changes, which lead to a natural loss in bone density very rapidly and quickly. And one of the best ways that we know through controlled studies and science, which I know is not trendy anymore, one of the best ways we know that we can prevent that, or at least decrease our risks of that, is through strength training. You know, quite often with like programs I see either just like posted by influencers or people online or whatever, part of the issue that I see a lot is that the volume is wildly high. So before we read through all of these claims, I'm going to tell you right now, I can say confidently that either this person was following a shitty program or something else was going on, because strength training at its core, if you are an individual with normal functioning endocrine system and GI system, and like if everything is typically pretty well functioning, strength training should not have these effects. Unless your programming is bad or if something else is going on. Anyway, let's read these claims. I was always hungry and binge eating at night. So this is something I hear a lot. Strength training can make you hungrier. It also doesn't for everybody across the board. So I would pull back here and go, well, what are you eating throughout the day? Are you eating enough protein to keep you satiated? Are you eating enough fiber at your meals and having enough vegetables and volume on your plate to round out those meals and take care of potentially that additional hunger that comes from strength training? But also just in general, because I see this a lot with women and this has happened to me too, are you eating enough during the day? At the beginning of the year, if you watched my 2020, 5 goals video, yikes. I talked about taking a few weeks to track what I was eating because I did notice that I was very hungry at the end of the day and I wanted to see like what was going on. Was I not eating enough protein or eating enough in general? And turns out I was not eating enough at my meals during the day. So I was very hungry at night and found myself overeating or binging at the end of the day. So again, instead of running right to strength training caused this. There's a lot of other things going on. My posture suffered, making my belly stick out even more. So that's not a strength training issue unless you're training the position of keeping your pelvis like tilted forward. It might have to do with your breathing mechanics. There might be some mobility issues potentially. Maybe you're doing too many like push dominant drills. So that's a programming issue. You might have poor form in some glute heavy exercises. So again, this is not inherently a strength training issue. This is due to something else. I was constantly bloated even when I was eating healthy. So again, look at your food. If everything seems fine on the surface, maybe seeing like a gastroenterologist, seeing if there's something going on more internally. There is no reason inherently, like point A to point B, that strength training would cause more bloating. I couldn't enjoy myself on holiday like I used to. Okay. Why? Oh, and then the kicker, I've lost my femininity. Barf. Ugh. Tomato, tomato, tomato. I hate that. I hate that so much. The number of comments I get from both men and women telling me that strength training makes me look masculine and that no man will ever want me because of that, good. Fucking great. Maybe I don't give a shit. Maybe my message with my body is leave me the fuck alone. How about that? The only man's opinion that I would like even potentially entertain on my appearance is my husband's. But even then, like, look, here's the thing. Kevin and I have been together with dating and marriage for like 15 years. We know each other, we love each other, we like each other, and we've both grown a lot as individuals, and luckily like also grown together in our relationship over those 15 years. And he knows that my health is incredibly important to me, and I keep up with my health, which also in turn does have a certain effect on my physical or outward appearance to a point. He's seen me at highs and lows, both mentally and emotionally and physically, and he has loved me no matter what, you know, as your spouse should. So maybe if a man or a woman or a person, whoever, maybe if someone doesn't love you just because of the way that your body looks, they don't deserve to love you. How about that? Anyway, this is at the bottom. Hell no. Oh, we have some pictures coming up here. All right. So this is an ad for Willow Health. Willow offers GLP-1 semaglutide weight. I'm assuming that says loss something. Okay. So then this person, Christy Portillo, she says weight loss medication is self-care, period. Full stop. Angry face. I hit my goal weight after losing 10 pounds. My health is better and I finally love the way I look. Just because I didn't waste time in the gym doesn't make it invalid. Oh boy. All right. So I don't have anything to say for or against weight loss medication because quite honestly, it's none of my business. That is a conversation for you and your medical team and your doctor. So I'm not even going to comment on that. Here's what I hate about this ad and what I will comment on. You don't take a weight loss medication just to lose 10 pounds. I mean, you can, but I just think it's really irresponsible. Especially like if you're just taking it to lose 10 pounds and then get right back off of it, unless you've done the work of like changing your behavior and your habits, that weight's just gonna come right back. And then we get into my health is better. How? Once again, there's no explanation what health actually means. It is just about how this person looks, which is finally what she says. I finally love the way I look. And look, as someone who has been conventionally like thin her entire life, I'm not going to comment on this too much because I don't want to invalidate someone's feelings about loving how they look. Like I truly hope that everyone in their life loves the way that they look and loves how they feel at some point. So I don't have an issue with this. I just think it's silly to take a weight loss medication to lose 10 pounds. But the kicker at the end, just because I didn't waste time in the gym doesn't make it invalid. So once again, it's not about health. Why go to the gym to lose 10 pounds? Which of course is the only reason a woman would ever set foot in the gym. Am I right? Damn, we got a lot of shit out there this month. All right, we're bringing it back up with Kevin Carr. Kevin Carr of MBSC. Kevin works for Mike Boyle. He has a great coaching certification, CFSC, Certified Functional Strength Coach. I highly recommend. I think if you are someone, if you're a coach who got like a NASM or ACE personal training cert, you probably felt a little confused about programming in the end. At least I did. And I think that this cert, I have it linked down below. I think it's a great natural stepping point. It really breaks down programming in a very simple, strategic way. And I think it gives you a great and a better foundation than some of those big personal training certifications to then build upon and continue to learn and expand. So highly recommend. It's linked down below. Let's see what Kevin has to say. Reminder, 2 to 3 days per week of strength training fulfills 0% of your recommended cardiovascular activity. Strength training will undoubtedly improve cardiovascular fitness for the untrained individual, but ultimately we need to do consistent, moderate, and high intensity cardiovascular work to maximize our health. We actually already kind of talked about this really quickly when we talked about the girl who wants you to do 8,100 steps a day. But yeah, let's break this down. So the current recommendation for cardiovascular guidelines and health are 150 minutes per week of moderate aerobic activity. So we can kind of think of that as more like zone 2 conversational pace and or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity. So I'm going to say that's typically like zone 3 and above. And the reason for this is because these are training 2 different systems. And even within these systems, there is overlap, but it's different types of adaptations. So we're working the cardiovascular system and the muscular system. So when we're strength training, for example, our muscular system, there's a lot of adaptations. We're going to pick one just to make this simple. But the muscular system, that strength adaptation is going to be increased muscle mass, we'll say. The cardiac adaptation, when you're doing strength training, one of them is going to be a thicker left ventricle wall in your heart. On the flip side, when you're doing cardiovascular work, the muscular adaptation, or one of them, the main one that's going to happen, is that you're going to have increased capillary density, meaning that you're going to be able to get more oxygen to your muscle fibers. So it's working a little bit more for like a strength endurance, slow twitch muscle fiber type of goal here. On the flip side, the cardiovascular benefit is that you're going to get a larger left ventricle. I have a whole video breaking down the differences in lots of different like training styles, so you can go watch that if you like. But the point here is that the two things support each other, but the adaptations are different. And we really do ideally need to be doing both. Now, if you want a video on like how to fit all of those things in, because I know that can sound really overwhelming, like how do I get in all this strength work? How do I get in all this cardio during the week? Let me know, and maybe we can brainstorm, come up with something in the future. But in the meantime, we're going to put this as a yas. Thank you, Kevin Carr. Ooh, my eyes. We got to zoom in for this one. Reading this caption at the top. My mom was so right about lifting too heavy. Post-surgery, she would massage my body every day and say I'm too tight and muscle are getting bulky around arms and legs. I've been stretching more and doing Pilates and yoga, like strengthening using my own body weight, and I feel slimmer and leaner. I think strength training and lifting heavy for women is overrated. Her philosophy of eating less and doing more flexibility-oriented strengthening exercises makes more sense for me. I don't know who she is, but she's got to stop listening to her mom. Again, do we see a theme? Like, rarely are we actually talking about health with a lot of this content. I mean, Pilates and yoga and flexibility, like they're all great, but again, it's the osteoporosis talk. I told this story, I don't know what video, but long story short, Kevin and I were traveling in Ireland last year, and we went on this bike tour, which was really cool, through Belfast. And we were sitting chatting with this retired couple, like early 60s. When the woman asked what I did, and I said personal trainer, she was telling me about how her doctor actually started recommending strength training because she has always been a runner. She's always cycled, so her legs are really strong. But she had fallen off of her bike or tripped and fell while running, and twice now have broken both of her wrists. So what did her doctor recommend? Strength train to increase your bone density. So I don't know. Fast forward to 80 years old. Do you want to maintain your independence and be aesthetically feminine and slim and lean? Or do you want to have both your wrists? I choose my wrists. All right, another one. This is twofold. So this is the first slide. What social media says regulates our nervous system. So we have all of these things: sauna, cold plunges, breath works, no alcohol, supplements, cycle syncing, hot girl walks, mouth taping, all of these things. Blocking your ex, that's funny. So this is a lot of stuff that gets pushed to us. And you'll also notice that a lot of these things can be monetized. So paying to go to a sauna, paying for a cold plunge, paying for someone's breathwork course, buying, I'm just making shit up now, but like buying a mushroom coffee that doesn't have caffeine. I think blocking your ex is probably free. Going to a sound bath, buying a alcohol substitution, like a non-alcoholic drink, supplements. So all of these things, most of those things can be monetized, right? Now we can look at the second slide versus what actually regulates our nervous system. So you can see at the top things that can be helpful, which were a lot of the things on the first slide. And then we kind of work to the bottom of the pyramid to the things that are the most important. And you'll see at the very bottom, a lot of these things are actually socioeconomic factors. I did actually do an entire video breaking down what I believe, based off of science and research, what would actually make America healthy again. So if you'd like to check that out, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I know like this slide or these slides are talking about our nervous system, but like I would actually argue you could just insert like what actually makes us healthy and that would kind of take care of it too. And I want to just give you an example because a lot of times people like see something at the bottom here and they're like, well, how does that impact our health? And let's take an example and look at secure employment. So in America, a lot of times healthcare or health insurance is directly tied to your employment or your employer. So if you lose your job because, I don't know, some made up government agency says that your job is a waste of money, or you lose your job because a company just wants to downsize because of tariffs that are going to raise prices on things, and God forbid the CEO take a pay cut, so they're just going to cut more of the middlemen, and then all of the people around you who are left at the job, they don't get a pay increase. They just have to pick up all of the loose ends and have more responsibility with their job, but they can't say no because they need that secure employment to get their health insurance. So anyway, pick one of those two reasons. So now you've lost your job, which means you've lost your income and you've lost your health care. Now you're stressed the fuck out, rightfully so. And stress is a normal part of life, but too much stress can wreak havoc on your health. It can interrupt your sleep. It can influence your food choices. It can cause your mental health to suffer. And it is a trickle-down effect with your health across the board, your nervous system, whatever you want to insert here. So I'm not going to sit here and say that like a sauna or a cold plunge have zero benefits, but we want to think of those as like the cherry on top, or in this case, it's the top smallest part of the pyramid. So I love this. I think it's a really great graphic that just gives you a lot of grounding things for thought, and we're going to put it as a yas. Oh my God, last one. We made it. All right, download Work It. I want a Pilates princess upper body and a muscle mommy lower body, but IDK what to do. It's like we're building like a Sims character or like a centaur. It's like I would like human head, horse body. I mean, aside from the fact that ignoring your upper body is just terrible advice for every reason that we've talked of already, spoken of, talked about, we've been filming for a long time. Yeah, we have some arm exercises here, but at the bottom it says, tip, use light weights, 1 to 2 pounds or no weights. But your gym bag weighs more than 1 to 2 pounds. Lift something heavier. Your kid weighs more than 1 to 2 pounds. Lift something heavier. And then this lower body day is exactly what I was talking about. This is unhinged. 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps of hip thrusts, step ups, Bulgarian split squats, Romanian deadlifts, walking lunges. Not only does this order make no sense, there's far too many things in this one workout. I wouldn't be able to walk for a week. This is like ChatGPT, AI generated nonsense programming. It's going in the hell now. Whew, okay. I'm heated. Literally, I'm sweating. So that's our video for the month, everybody. I will actually say I think 90% of these were sent to me by you. So thank you all so much for helping me not need to scroll and mess up my own algorithm. So if you come across something that you think would be a good addition to this video for next month, you can send it to me. The easiest way is on Instagram. I don't check TikTok DMs because TikTok scares me. So on Instagram is the easiest way. Once again, if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, please do so. And if you can hit that like button, that really does help the algorithm. Just push out the video to more people so we can reach that 100K goal by the end of the year. If you have any questions, leave them below and I will see you in the next one.